Last week I joined a focus club and I used it as a way to focus in on deep work sessions and try and get the most out of it. These focus clubs are popping up everywhere and they're becoming really popular amongst those with ADHD and those who want to take advantage of working from home and be more effective on task. So I did a week of it and thought I'd share my opinions on how they worked and whether I benefited from any of these focus clubs. We'll be digging into some of the science around it and also digging into whether it's right for you. So welcome, my name is Francesco. I have been reviewing lots of productivity tools over the years. More recently, there's been loads of these focus co-working spaces popping up and I really like the concept. I typically work in coffee shops quite a lot because I quite like being around other people and having that focused environment, or at least I don't know what works in my brain, but when I'm in a coffee shop, I know I can go into a deep focus state. Now, there are these focus clubs which you can join and they're typically held over Zoom, which allow you to join in group with other people and essentially work with them in 2-hour blocks. There's actually lots of different websites that you can check out. There's a full list of them below, but I actually went with one called Flown, which I will link in the description with all of the others. And this one I went with because it was something called facilitator-led, which meant the sessions that were deep work states, like 2 hours, were actually led by somebody, which actually helped have that structure and form. So I'm about to head into the first 2-hour session. It looks like it's going to be about 2 minutes of 50 minutes of deep work, and then by the looks of it, some combinations of intentions and reflections. There was a meditation session before and I bailed on it. I just feel like I can't do group meditations. It's a no-go for me. After my first session, I started to think about the concept of body doubling. Was it something that I liked or something that I benefit from subconsciously? And I asked Micah from the Flown team what body doubling was and how it works.
So body doubling is actually a term that first became popular amongst ADHD coaches. It's a term that's basically used to describe the practice of working with somebody else present with you. Simple as that. If you've ever worked in a co-working space, or perhaps in a library, or sat down with your laptop at a cafe, you've probably already experienced that sense of ambient background connection that we often have whenever we're working in the presence of other people. And what's cool about this phenomenon is that it ultimately allows you to be able to focus more readily, to stave off procrastination, to block out distractions more easily, and ultimately to be able to concentrate on your most important work and tasks.
I found that these sessions were quite helpful for me in terms of focusing over the time period. During some of the middle sessions, I actually felt that I had more of a flow, and some of the sessions felt like that middle break in the middle was almost come at the worst time because I was focusing so well. But at the same time, they actually helped me to keep focused in the sessions. I actually was able to speak to some people during the first and second sessions in the breakout rooms and ask them questions of why they typically liked it. And they found that these sort of sessions gave them a bit of structure and a bit of focus, especially when they're trying to work from home, and that a membership like this actually gave them some direction in the daily routine. So I've just finished my second 2-hour session, and this one went a little bit better because I think I understood the structure of the session in terms of how everything flows in the session, and I think I was able to hit my sort of targets more effectively. The thing that I sort of did that was different was there was a breakout room for people to go into where they want to discuss things. And you had about 3 minutes to quickly talk over your intentions for the session. And I actually think that was more helpful than a generalized group one. The one thing I found was that even during the breaks, I was in such a flow of working that I didn't find the breaks effective because I was no, I want to carry on. But largely the concept is very helpful because I also bolt it on to 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock when I know I'm dipping in my productivity, and it actually has helped to lift that up. Hopefully that's not the sort of honeymoon effect of it, but let's see how the next one goes. It's really common over the last couple of years. For the people that work at home, sometimes after 2-3 years of doing it, you can get into sort of a rut where you're actually like, I'm feeling tricky or finding it hard to work at home because of the focus. And these sort of sessions are designed to do that. I also explored the concept of these Twitch streams that did a similar thing called Study With Me. And they actually are also beneficial after taking some during this week too. They also felt very similar in structure in terms of focused sessions to work on. Now, there were quite a few other platforms that actually did these one-to-ones or just having focused state sessions or intention. So you can share your intention you want to go on, which were quite helpful. But overall, I actually found that this didn't really massively help my productivity. I'm not sure I'm the type of person who will benefit massively from this because I've worked from home for probably 8 to 10 years now, somewhere in between there. And I've got into a routine and got into a flow, and I like my coffee shop trips. That something like this probably won't benefit me. But for those who are working from home and that don't have as much freedom as that, these are actually a great way to meet people, but also to retain that focus, retain that strength, and also get intentional about what work you're doing and keep on task. So I can see many companies really benefiting from these type of things, and it actually gave me an idea of whether I should run one of these on our second channel, More Productive. So do stay tuned for that. Overall, it was impressive to use a service like this, although this video isn't sponsored. There is a link below to Flown and all of the other focus clubs that are out there in the world. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think of these experimental type videos.